So, as we all know, the whole purpose of spirituality is to walk away from this sansar, not physical sansar necessarily, but at least the mental sansar, where our thinking activity is, and all that, and then walk away into the this unknown, infinite existence that's within all of us, right? We say that, but the journey is always tough, and it's not an easy way to jump from one thing to another, because as soon as you open your eyes, you see the sansar, floating around you, people, objects, everything. So all those things are seem so alive, and yet they say it's a dream. Do you just accept it, or you want to believe it on your own, or you want to find out? All those things are very important questions that we need to really address. And that's why the spiritual path can be frustrating. So if you really think about it, the all our thoughts are circling around the objects, people, situations, and all those things. And everything has a name. Persons, people have names, objects have names, situations have names, and even our emotions have names. We always say sukh and dukh, happiness, unhappiness. We always call somebody, as soon as we start thinking about somebody, the first thing which comes in our mind is the name. But okay, I'm thinking of such and such friend. But you're not just thinking of a friend, you're thinking of a friend with a fixed name. And that's how we have developed our psyche in such a way that whatever contents that you have accumulated in your mind, in your chitta, about that person, right, has a name. His habits, his behaviors, his likes, his dislikes, all those things finalize into a single word, his name. As soon as you speak that name, everything opens up in your chitta, right? So the way you want to move away from the world in your mind is to walk away from the names. And this is an internal mental process. It's not that you're going to forget his name or her name or nothing like that. But before the humans came into existence, there were no names. Languages were created by the humans, right? So before the humans came into existence, existence was as it was. Like there were flowers and there were thorns, there were leaves, there were roots, but none of them had any name, right? We came in and we started naming them. So if you think about a flower, you're not just looking at a flower. You're not just looking at a flower. You also know what you're looking at. Say a rose. And then the rose may be a good looking rose or a bad looking rose, good smelling rose or no smell at all or bad smell. Whatever it is, you start analyzing that particular flower. And this analysis happens so quick that we are not even realizing how much mental activity we are using it, because we are just conditioned for that. So the world of names and forms is the major obstacle. So even when we are happy, we say we are happy, and we are unhappy, we are unhappy. Now, we do not combine those two things, right? For us, happiness is happiness. There is no room for unhappiness in that. And when we are very upset, unhappy, we're not putting any happiness into it. And yet, in reality, if you think about it, unhappiness generates the happiness. And how is that? You may be unhappy and you get some good news, you're happy. So now you see the difference between the unhappiness and happiness. So you jump into happiness and you call that happiness. But that's how our language is. But if you really look at your everyday life or every year's life as it goes on, happiness and unhappiness keep on crisscrossing all the time, right? But because we have separate names for it, we are also getting baffled back and forth, back and forth. So if we stop naming these conditions, then acceptance becomes so much easier, right? So same way, day and night, right? But day never turns into night in a fraction of a second. The daylight starts slowing down, but we don't call that night yet. Until our eyes stop perceiving the light, we call it night. So day and night, happiness, unhappiness, all those things are bound to each other. And we keep on differentiating. Like if you love someone, right? So when you love someone, the hate later on arises, whatever maybe the situations may change, but you hate that person now because you love him. If somebody is going on the street, you're not going to hate him out of blue, right? So only if you have set up a connection with that person before of love, and now he has disappointed you in obtaining the love from him or her, now it turns into hate. So love became hate. For us, the mind is divided. Love is love, hate is hate. Now what happens is, because the person who you were loving or hating is not a steady person, right? He's a continuously moving, not just physically, but mentally also. A lot of his ideas, a lot of his beliefs, a lot of his conceptions keep on changing. The first day that you loved him or her and you synchronized very well, there's no guarantee that that person will stay exactly the way you loved him or her to be. So you keep on expecting the person to love you just the way they loved you before. But that can happen only if you're talking about, say, furniture. Say you liked a chair. You go on vacation, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, come back, the chair is exactly where it was. And you can expect the chair to be there. It was a very comfortable chair and you enjoyed it. Fine, nothing wrong with that. But that's an object. But we are utilizing the same philosophy onto the human beings also, or into the nature also. For us, the winter cannot come. Summer is the most beautiful. As soon as winter comes, we hate it. So we divide everything into compartments. And that's our doing, right? So the same thing happens. Husband and wife, they get married with the great expectations from each other, right? As the time goes, the person is a person. He or she can change. And when he or she changes, does not remain the chair anymore. Whatever was expected of that person is gone. And yet, at the same time, you want that person to be alive because chair has no life. The person has a life, and life means a change, but you cannot accept the change. So these are the intricate ways our mind has created this rigmarole, a very complicated web within our minds, all because of the names. We started giving names to the emotions. We started giving names to the objects, people, situations. All these things have names. And that's how we have divided all these things. Supposing we are sitting in a room, right? And we want to talk to each other. And we cannot use the names of anything. What do you talk about? Language includes all the names, nomenclature of everything. We won't have much to talk about. And that's exactly how it was before the humans arrived. There were no languages, just basic bird language or animals language. That's it. So everything was accepted. The flower was accepted and the thorns were accepted as a part of one gigantic existence. Changing weathers were accepted. There was nothing wrong with that. Everybody, animals, lived according to the changings of nature. And we have lost that. Why? Because of the languages, because of the names we gave them. We gave the names to the seasons, names to the objects, and it is necessary also. How are you gonna, walk around in the sansar without the names? You go to a shop and you want to buy something, you cannot just say that, give me that, right? So it doesn't work that way. So to make this sansar practical, languages were necessary. But at the same time, when the names were created, language was created, there was a nail on the coffin of existence, peaceful existence, total acceptance. And that's why, like if you read Tao Te Ching by Lao Tse, he says that the Tao that can be named is not the Tao that I'm talking about. Because you are forcing me to give the name to Tao, I'll give the name, but it's not the Tao. Because whatever it is there, the minute you give the name, you're humanizing it. And whatever you call that, that state is beyond human minds. So humans try to put their intelligence into it and created the names. But as soon as you say Ram or Rahim or Buddha, it became a fixed entity. Along with Buddha comes his philosophies, this and that, what he did, this and that. All those things come up. So when we give names, we're doing a lot of injustice to something that cannot be named. The best way to describe that is silence. So that's why it is very difficult to go from our divisive mind all the way, right away, in a second, to the Advait state. So, okay, nothing is happening. Everything is same. It's easy to say, but the path is very difficult. So people who are struggling, they need to come out of the names, the nomenclature, which has imprint of the human beings. And with the names starts the whole thinking process. So if you want to reduce the number of thoughts, you want to start dissolving the people's names from your mind when you are by yourself. And then see what happens. Whatever you want to think about, you can try to think about, but the name should not come into the picture. You will suddenly realize that 50% of your mental activity is gone down. Then that person, because mind condensed them into a single name, right? Single word. But as soon as that word is taken away, then person becomes mobile, becomes free. Because our language is like a tree, right? We call it a tree is a tree is a tree, right? That's wrong, right? But there is a continuous process going on. There is an inflow of the molecules and the water and everything, and outflow of the same things. It's a process. You and me are a process, but we have fixed names. And that's where the problem is. And not only we have fixed names, but we also want whatever we want from each other also is fixed. I want happiness from you. I don't want unhappiness from you. I want you to respect me. I want to do this. Everything has a name. What if all the names are removed? What will happen? Expectations will go down. And you will start synchronizing with the existence, with the life as it is. Acceptance will start happening. Mind will start calming down. And that will facilitate the way further up inside. The ultimate state, of course, is Advaita. But Advaita, even look at the name. There is no name given to that state. All they're saying is not dual. That's it. It's a negativistic definition, but that's the limitation. The Advait is a name derived from Dvait, which we are familiar with, right? So the same thing happens with all the names that we have created, except this formless state that we're talking about, cannot be named, should not be named, and ultimately recognized only with the silence. Silence from the thoughts. And thoughts are going to go on as long as you are living in the world of names and forms. Okay, so much for today.